I'm gonna start by adding a permission check in my kit command, because right now anyone with the command kit can use any of the kits. So I'm gonna check if he has a permission for the specific kit. So I'm gonna write here, if player has permission, and permission will be, it's gonna have a prefix kit dot, and then it's gonna be a kit name, so kit.name. So if player has permission, no, we want to make it if player doesn't have permission, we want to return and tell him the color, we're gonna use translation, we're gonna make a key, translation key kit no permission, we're gonna add a message color. Okay, so we get a kit no permission. We have to add it to default translations in our instance class of the plugin. So here we get add a new row, and translation key gonna be kit no permission, and it's gonna say we don't have permission to use this kit. Okay, so once we got this, I'm now gonna add a cooldown to our kits, so it's actually gonna save the time when the player last time used the kit, and we're gonna check for cooldown if you can use it again. So each kit is gonna have a cooldown, specific cooldown. It's gonna be specified in config by server admin. So I'm gonna extend the kit class, gonna add a new property. It's gonna be integer and it's gonna be called cooldown. Okay, and now I have to update my default config. I'm gonna add a default value for cooldown of the default kit equal to 300. Okay, so now we have to find a way, think of a way to store and check for this cooldown. So I think like the easiest way is gonna be, if we're gonna have a public dictionary in our instance class, we're gonna have and the dictionary key is gonna be string, which will be the player ID, and value is gonna be list, but list of, we need a list of kit ID with expiry date of the cooldown. So we need to create a new class, and I'm gonna call it kit cooldown. I'm gonna make it in models, add a new class and call it kit cooldown. Okay, it's gonna be a public class, and it's gonna have two properties. First property is gonna be kit name, and the second property is gonna be date time, and it's gonna be expiry date for the cooldown. Okay, so we now gonna know when the kit, specified kit expires cooldown. Okay, so I'm gonna use it here. It's gonna be a list of kit cooldown object, and the dictionary I'm gonna call this property players kit cooldowns. Okay, and now once I know the way I'm gonna store it, I'm gonna make a new public method here, which is gonna be bool. It's gonna tell if someone has permission, has cooldown, and the parameter is gonna be, first parameter is gonna be player ID, second parameter is gonna be kit name. Okay, so we're gonna have these two parameters. Now inside here we're gonna check if the player has used this kit. Okay, so I'm gonna first write, I first have to check if the player was ever registered in the kit cooldowns dictionary. So I'm gonna use if the player contains key player ID, but actually I'm gonna check if it doesn't contain key, so the player never used any kit in this session. I'm gonna return false, because he got no cooldown if he didn't use it yet. Okay, and now the second thing I'm gonna do, now I can check if the player has ever used this kit, this specified kit. So I'm gonna get this kit. Cooldown, kit cooldown is equal to, I'm gonna use dictionary player kit cooldowns, and we're gonna use take the value, so the list of cooldowns by the player ID. So the key is gonna be player ID. Now I get a list of kit cooldown. So now I can use first or default from link queue to find the kit with the specified name in the parameter. So I'm gonna find the first or default where kit name is equal to kit name from the parameters. So my kit name here, and I'm gonna use the string compression ignore case. So I'm gonna make sure it doesn't look for the case specific kit. Okay, so now I get a kit cooldown, or I get a default value which is gonna be null for the class. So I'm gonna write if cooldown kit cooldown, this kit cooldown is equal to null. I'm also gonna return false because he never used this kit. He can use it. Okay, and now the last thing. Now I'm gonna check if he used this kit. I'm gonna check if the cooldown already expired. So I get a kit cooldown dot expiry date. So I know when it should expire, when he can use this kit again. So I'm gonna compare it with the current date. And I use datetime dot, and I'm gonna use UTC for both. Okay, so it's gonna be UTC date. So if expiry date is greater than UTC now, it's gonna return true, but otherwise it's gonna return false. So otherwise he can use this kit because the kit expired, because the expiry date is smaller than UTC now. So yeah, and I'm gonna make one more method here. I'm gonna make a method called, it's gonna be void, and it's gonna be for registering the cooldown. So I'm gonna register the cooldown if the player executed the command, the kit. So I'm gonna call it register cooldown, and again I'm gonna take parameters player ID and kit name. Or actually, because I have in the kit command I'm actually taking the kit from the config, so I'm gonna know the cooldown for it. So I will know what to add to the datetime UTC now and give an expiry date, set expiry date. So I'm gonna, instead of kit name, I'm gonna take kit class, kit. I'm gonna take a kit in the parameter, and so now I can. So now this is a config kit, so I'm gonna know the cooldown. So first I need to create a new object for kit cooldown. So kit cooldown is gonna be equal to new kit cooldown, and I need to give a kit name. Kit name is gonna be kit.name, and expiry date is gonna be datetime.utc now, but add seconds, because we want config to specify the cooldown in seconds. And now we can use our kit.cooldown property. Okay, so once I create a new kit cooldown object, I'm gonna have to add it to store it to my player's kit's cooldown. So I'm gonna do first I have to check if there's already a list, and if the list is not null yet, because if the key wasn't added to dictionary yet, it's gonna be null. So I'm gonna make sure it's not null. So if kit cooldown, player's kit cooldown contains key player ID is false, I'm gonna set the value to player kids cooldown and key player ID gonna be equal to new list. So now it's an empty list, and I'm gonna add the new kid cooldown to it. So players kids cooldowns, player ID, add kid cooldown. We can use add here because we're sure that the list is not null, so it's not gonna throw an exception. Okay, so this way we register a kit, so we know the player has used the kit. So we're now gonna implement it in our kit command. We're gonna use these two methods. So first we're gonna add a check for if has a cooldown. So if player has a cooldown, so I need an instance of plugin kits plugin.instance, and I've got a public method here has cooldown. I ask for parameter player ID and kit name, so I'm gonna use player.id. It's a property in Unturned player, and kit name is gonna be kit.name. So if player has a cooldown for kit name, we're gonna return. And we're gonna tell him, send him a message, kids play. We're gonna use translation. The translation key is gonna be kit cooldown, and the message call is gonna be one from the kids plugin instance. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna check for a cooldown. And the second thing I'm gonna do is if someone takes the kit and he successfully took it, I'm gonna add a new. I'm gonna have to register that he used that kit, so I'm gonna use the kits plugin to register, plugin instance.register cooldown, and the player ID is gonna be player.id, and models it's gonna be kit. Okay, so we register cooldown and we tell him the message kit success then. Okay, so now this way we know he used that kit, we add it, so then later if he uses this again, we will see this in the list of in the dictionary, in the list of cooldowns. Okay, so we have to add a translation kit cooldown. We add a default translation for it. It's gonna say it actually should say the time left from the cooldown, so we're gonna have to make a small change to our has cooldown method, because we're gonna add we actually want to return the time span on how long he has to wait yet for the kit to expire. So I'm gonna add a new parameter here. It's gonna be out parameter, so I'm out time span, and it's gonna be the time left. Okay, so now at the top I have to add I have to set it to default values of null, or actually time span of 0, because time span is in the class. And now if we return true, we want to tell him how much time left he got. So actually we can make it a better way if we make it like this. Time left is gonna be equal to kit cooldown the expiry date minus date time, the UTC now. So now if the expiry date is at 12 o'clock and it's 11:55, it's gonna be 5 minutes. So the time left is gonna be time span of 5 minutes. So I will always know if the daytime, the UTC now, is gonna be greater than expiry date only if the time left is smaller than 0, because then it's gonna be greater and it's gonna make a negative number. So if time left dot total seconds is smaller than 0, then we return true, and we know that he's still got a cooldown. No, I mean, wait, wrong way. total seconds. If it's greater than 0, then we know he got a cooldown, because otherwise it would be already expired. Okay, so now if I get a time left, I'll finish the default translation for this. It's gonna say you have to wait. I'm gonna use a placeholder. You have to wait placeholder seconds to use this kit again. Okay, so now we have to pass this, use the parameter time left, so we're gonna use time span out time left, and we're gonna use this time left to and pass it to placeholder, so time span time left total seconds, and because we don't want the numbers after decimal spaces, so we need to round it to integer, so it's not gonna be like decimal number, it's gonna be a okay. So I think we got it. One more thing we could do, we can add a global cooldown for our KISS plugin, so I'm gonna add a new property in the config, which is gonna be a public integer global cooldown, and I'm gonna set a default value for it 30, so no matter what, if player tries to use it 2 kits, one kit, and then he tries to use again a different kit, even if the different kit doesn't have a cooldown for it, it's still gonna not let him use this kit because he used it too fast. He used some kit in less than 30 seconds ago. Okay, so that's gonna be simple to implement. I'm gonna add another check here. I'm actually gonna have to store also when was last time register kit, so I'm gonna edit the register cooldown method, and I'm gonna add a new new dictionary, also dictionary of string, and just one single date time, and it's gonna be a dictionary of global cooldowns. I'm gonna call it like this. I'm gonna make it private set, and also here I'm gonna make it private set, and I have to initialize it. I also have to initialize player's kits, I forgot. I have to initialize it in the load method of my plugin, so I'm gonna make player cooldowns equals new dictionary, and also global cooldowns equals new dictionary. Okay, and now in the register cooldown I'm gonna add a new property, new thing. I'm gonna add global cooldown is gonna store a player ID and the last time he used the kit, so it's gonna be a player kit cooldowns. No, global cooldowns, and I'm gonna use the player ID key. It's gonna be equal to date10.utc now. And actually, I'm gonna add, it's gonna be expiry date of the global cooldown, so I'm gonna add seconds, and I'm gonna use configuration property for configuration.instance.global cooldown. Okay, so now I get a. So now I added to dictionary, update the last time date time is the kit, and I'm gonna make a new method here, which is gonna be bool, and it's gonna be has global cooldown. It's gonna take parameter player ID and also kit name, and it's also gonna return the time left so we can then use it in translation. So guys, I'm gonna have out time span parameter time left. Okay, and now to check if when's the expiry date, we're gonna just simply use, we actually don't need a kit name, I forgot. we only need the player ID. So global cooldowns, player ID. We're gonna check if equals null, then we're gonna return false. It's because he doesn't have any global cooldown. Before I do this, I also have to set a default value for time left out parameter. So times pound is 0. Okay, so if player wasn't registered any cooldown, any global cooldown yet, he's gonna return false. And also if global cooldown, if it's not null, then I check if it's expired. So actually time left is gonna be equal to global cooldown. We get an expired date minus date time the UTC now, the current date, current UTC date. Okay, it's gonna be the time left, right? Yeah. And then we make sure it's greater than 0. I mean, yeah, greater than 0. Then we want to return true and say, and yeah, it has to be total seconds or whatever, total, that is greater than 0. And if it's not greater than 0, we're gonna return false. Okay, now we're also gonna use this method, the key command. Before has cooldown, the specific cooldown, specific git cooldown check. We're gonna make git plugin.instance that has global cooldown, pass the player ID here, and we're gonna take out parameter var time left. Actually, we can call it the same, so I'm gonna rename this one to time left 1. Or even better, I got a better idea. I'm gonna declare a variable here on top, and be time left, and I'm gonna use it in the both places, here and here. Time left, time left. Oh, and I forgot to change this. Back to time left, okay. So if player has a global cooldown, we're gonna return and tell him message. We're gonna send him a message. It's plugin instance and translate. We're using translations, of course, and it's gonna be the key for the translation will be kit global cooldown. We're gonna pass the parameter same as here. We're gonna pass the total seconds rounded to integer. And we're gonna use the message colon. Okay. So now we have to add a default translation for this. So kit global cooldown will return message you have global cooldown. I'm taking the placeholder argument seconds. You have argument seconds global cooldown. You have okay 5 seconds global cooldown yet. Okay, let it be like this. Okay, so I think we got all. We changed the, we set the default value for global cooldown. So we're now gonna update a version of our plugin 1.0.3. It's not necessary, but it's good to do this every time you change something, especially if you publish your plugin. Okay, now I'm gonna build a project. I'm gonna open it in Explorer. gonna get a DLL, I'm gonna install it on my server and try it out. So, as always, I go to File Manager and update my Rocket plugin. I'm also gonna wipe the configuration and translations file. So I'm gonna delete everything in the plugins directory. And I'm gonna, update my KISS plugin. So now I can start a server. As you can see, we got the plugin was successfully updated because we got a 1.0.3 version loaded. And we should also have a configuration updated and new translations added. I'm gonna check it. Okay, so in the configuration I have a cooldown property for each of the kits. I also have a global cooldown property. Okay, so now I'm gonna join on the server and try it out. Okay, so I'm on the server and I'm gonna try the commands now. Because I'm admin, I'm gonna have to add a permission for default to use the kit, but it's not. I'm not gonna give him a kit.default permission. So I'm gonna update permissions. I'm gonna add a new permission for default group. It's gonna be kit. Okay, I'm gonna reload permissions from console and add an admin myself. Okay, now my default group with permission only to kit, so I have a kit permission, but can I use the kit default? No, it says you don't have permission to use this kit. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a permission here for kit.default and see if that's gonna work. So I'm gonna reload permissions again. And now I try to type kit default. It doesn't say anything. Oh, we got an error actually. It says the default, this key was not present in dictionary. And it was from the has global cooldown method. Okay. So I think what we did wrong, we should use I'm gonna make it full screen. Yeah. Well, we basically instead of this, we should use like here a contains key method, I think. So we're gonna try that. So if global cooldowns doesn't contain key, then we're gonna return false. If it doesn't return key, contain key. Okay, so we're gonna have to build up our plugin again. I'm gonna check if it's so everything else is good. Okay, I'm gonna build a project. Take the latest version. Take the DLL. I'm gonna go to File Manager and I'm gonna update my KISS plugin. I don't have to delete configuration because I didn't touch it. I didn't touch default translations, neither configuration, so I just leave it like this. And I'm gonna restart the server now. Okay, so I get a server load again. I'm gonna rejoin it and try it again. Maybe it's and see if it's fixed. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna try to take the kit default. Yes, it gave me the kit default. You can see I've gotten 2 maple strikes now. Okay, and I'm gonna try if I can use it again. No, it says you have 21 seconds global cooldown yet. Okay, so we're gonna wait this time, and then try and check if we got, and if we should have a 300 seconds cooldown for the kit, for the specific kit. So let's see. Yeah, still have 1 second global cooldown. So now I should. Yeah, now it says the specific kit cooldown, so you have to wait 266 seconds to use this kit again. The specific kit. Okay. So it looks like it's working. We fixed the error. So now we can. I think that's it for this one.